All right, we're back out here with the bike park. We have the last test flight with the developer HP set out there. Need to boot it up. We have the controller this time. We have it screen recording so you'll be able to follow along. We're gonna do one more quick automated photo capture mission with the right settings we didn't have last time for the camera specs, and otherwise just gonna make sure nothing else is going to be apparently problematic with this developer HP before we send it out. So let's go ahead and get her booted up. Again, just good practice to spin out the props. Not really required, as they'll spin out themselves upon takeoff. And I think it was the last video that we saw, or no, it was the second to last video you saw this developer HP didn't flip up the antenna, so definitely want to make sure you do that if you don't want a mid-air mapping scare. Don't have the thermal camera installed. Well, we haven't installed. We just have the 4K video feed coming through, not the side-by-side with the thermal or only the thermal. Before we pack it all up, we'll switch over to the FPV settings app as well so you can see how you can adjust it. Not quite literally on the fly, but once you land, you can adjust the camera feed that you want to get back at the controller, as well as the settings for the recording as well. Just waiting for the connection to finish establishing. Three hours later. All right, we didn't get all of the parameters, so what we're going to do is reboot. We're going to have to close out of QGroundControl. See that we're connected to a hotspot, so we can get the maps for this area. In QGroundControl, you can actually download the maps offline. And while we're waiting for the connection, I'll show you how to do that. If you go to application settings, so if you don't have the ability to use a hotspot out in the field, you can come in here to this tab and add a new set of offline maps. Just as you can see here, set the area that you want, the min-max zoom level, and then download when you're ideally on a Wi-Fi connection. We're not going to actually download any maps to use offline since we're using a hotspot. I think we're just about there. The progress bar seemingly likes to get stuck at this point about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through. And there we are. We have a full complete connection. So again, if you run into the issue where the connection is not fully establishing, if you want to change any of these settings in the bar or the left-hand menu I'm scrolling through, again, just go to parameters, which will be available in any case, hit tools and reboot, or of course you could go unplug the battery, plug it back in, but this is, the easy way. Going to set the developer HP into loiter flight mode. And again, we could take off, quote unquote manually, and fly it pretty much just like a DJI. We're not going to take off just yet. We're actually going to set a very brief automated photo capture mission. One, we're in a relatively small operating area relative to the drone park we typically operate in. And we also don't really actually need to map out this bike park. Just want to show you the correct settings for the camera to do mapping missions. We'll do a basic survey mission. And we'll have it fly over this way, away from us. It's gonna be between where it's at and the pavilion over there. At no point should be flying over the pavilion. If it's flying above the pavilion, it's gonna awry. We're definitely gonna set the altitude higher than 80 feet with some of the taller trees around here. We'll actually set it up to 125 feet. And again, we should be avoiding all of the trees, but if it were to go awry, we should be roughly at the top of them, if not above them, with an altitude of 125 feet. All right. And here's where we need to change the settings. The sensor and image values are okay, but the focal length, we actually need to change to 4.7 millimeters. All right. And now we're going to do a much more typical overlap of 75%. And we'll do a cross grid pattern as well. And I was going to select hover and capture at each point. I don't think we should actually need to do that. This is a pretty small area, but again, should do the trick. Do 80% overlap and 80% on the front as well, maybe. The keyboard's not popping up, or the number pad. There we go. 80, not 85. We'll make the area slightly larger. There we go. That way it's basically more than just one line. Now it's, or two lines. Now it's 1, 2, 3 lines. What a mission. All right. We have sunk the mission with the correct settings. All right, and let's go ahead and take off. Guided flight mode. So now we're just doing an automated photo capture mission. So we're not actually even telling the gimbal to point straight down. We're just having it automatically capture the photos. And you can see the take photo success message come up on screen. All right, and that's already mission complete. So now we can have it return to landing. Oh, and it's already doing that. I kid. So like I said, very short mission. That was me providing the rotational input. All right. 6 images taken. We'll remove plan from the vehicle. The vehicle is now cleared. I wonder why it says not ready. if it's due to battery. Nope, should still be good on the battery front. Let me double check. With the power, yeah, minimum arming voltage. Oh, because you can't arm in loiter flight mode, or in auto flight mode, at least by default. There's parameters to change it, but duh. You can see where all the photos were captured on the map. But let's go ahead and show you how to change the settings in case you wanted to actually fly this mission with the thermal camera active, either side by side or thermal only. So here, if I just wanted to actually in flight use the FPV app, you could also do so. And then toggle between the camera feeds just by selecting the picture-in-picture feed. And while you're in the thermal mode, you can actually take measurements by tapping around on the screen. And I say that, but the other setting that you have to have enabled is the mainstream needs to be thermal, and that's what will have it go through QGroundControl. And then it will automatically change the substream. And then some of the other settings as well. If you look at the stream resolution, you can change that to full HD. And I think now we should be able to get temperature readouts. Let's close out the app, open it back up. I'm either misclicking or the app is not working as it's supposed to. I'm trying to select the lock icon so I can get a temperature readout. Might need to actually reboot, so that's something to keep in mind. Thermal data. Okay, yep, we're gonna have to reboot. And instead of doing the reboot through the QGroundControl app, doing it the good old-fashioned way, just by unplugging the battery, waiting a moment, and then plugging it back in. Where QGroundControl, a reboot won't necessarily reboot the camera because the power is being split off between the flight controller, or the drone, and the camera. So in other words, the camera would still get power, just rebooting through QGroundControl. We're not connected just yet. I'm gonna close out the app, all right? And just as I close out the app, we reestablish the connection. Let's see what settings we have by default. Image and temp, full HD, recording resolution, 4K. All right, now let's see if we switch over to thermal, if we can lock it. Let's see if we can get the temperature readout now. Definitely getting some glitchiness, it seems like, with the app. All right, so I'm going to now try switching from main to thermal. And now let's try. And now the lock icon is not working again. So let's close out. And reopen the FPV app. So mainstream should be thermal. And it's not giving us the temperature readout. Can record video just fine. Take a photo just fine. How exciting. All right, temperature measurement is turned on. Let's try side by side. See if we fare any better. Close out. It's actually not responding to what I'm telling it to do. Could you imagine the nerve? We're definitely getting temperature data without that image and temp option being selected previously. Let's see what's getting ported over into QGroundControl before we reboot. All right, just a standard video feed. Application settings. That's not actually what I want. I want vehicle setup. Wow, I can't even get to the parameter screen until the connection establishes. Nonetheless, I should be able to switch between the camera feeds. Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. There's an owl. Owl in the woods. It's mocking us. Like I thought you were Mr. Wise Guy. All right, we're going to reboot the controller and reboot the developer HP, namely the thermal camera. And the HP, as we're seeing, operating just fine, but it looks like there's a glitch with the thermal camera. That's not keeping it from functioning per se, just keeping it from functioning in the way that at least I would like to see you be able to switch it, you know, again, not on the fly, but back and forth between flights, if nothing else. All right, booting the controller back up. Might have to reactivate the screen recording. It looks like it loses the feed. Nope, okay, it's back up. There's just a couple of screens that show, a couple graphical screens that show on the controller before the Android operating system. Yes, gives you the ability to start screen recording or outputting the screen via HDMI. Look at the pupper. All right, back in the FPV app, and what are we going to see? All right, now I guess let's try and switching from main to main and thermal. And that did not swap. All right, I just tried switching the thermal data, which was not previously selected as far as I recall ever seeing. So let's actually just reboot the camera. Back and forth, back and forth. Wonder if it has anything to do with me outputting the screen through HDMI. I can't imagine that would actually be the case though. And then again, here we're not getting the side-by-side feed. Did it take that time? I want to say it did. And it did. Okay, so it looks like it was the image and data capture option that was giving us an issue. And now we're getting temperature readouts as well. Perfect. So let's see how hot our camera operator really is. Wow, look at that. You are burning hot compared to the area around you. All right, so now that we have the side-by-side back, let's go ahead and get some footage just manually. We'll close out of the FPV app, and now we should see in QGroundControl both the thermal feed and the normal video are coming through side by side. Recording resolution is set to 1080p as we want. And again, you can switch to 4K if you're just doing video only. So we'll do just 3 quick flights, one with side-by-side video feed, land it, switch it over to normal video feed, capture some video, land it, and then swap over to thermal only video, capture some video and land it. So we'll probably have about 30 seconds before we're going to take off. We'll take them out. Kidding. Come on. I believe in you. By yeah, that I believe in. Yep. All right, we don't need all of the menu options, so we're just going to start recording video. Should be able to arm with the sticks and take off just like that. Give you a nice, good look at the surrounding park. Side-by-side thermal and 1080p video. All right, and back around 360. Not the smoothest movements, but not the purpose of the video. All right. So now closing out of QGroundControl. I don't think we actually have to close out of it as much as just minimize it. Go back over to the FPV app. Now we're going to select main. And we want the recording resolution to be 4K. And it looks like the swap didn't go ahead and take effect in the FPV app. We will close the FPV app and then we'll reopen QGroundControl. And now, as you can see, we have the full 4K video feed. So we'll start recording. We'll arm and take off just as smoothly as the last time. And similarly, we'll go ahead and rotate around. Hey, Mom. Think I got a nice photo there. All right. We'll get a photo of me as well. Got to get a selfie with our own drone, well, our customer's drone before it goes out. Oh, it's not the first. All right, and last but not least, once it disarms here, just holding the stick all the way down and to the left. And if it's not switching to disarmed, you can just select disarm within QGroundControl, just as I did there. And again, going to minimize QGroundControl now. Swap over to the thermal feed. Close out of the FPV app. reopen QGroundControl, and now you can see we're just getting the thermal feed in QGroundControl. We'll start recording, take off. All right, and rotate. So you can see definitely a more cropped in view compared to the standard video feed, but just what you'd expect out of a thermal camera view, infrared view, thermal view. All right, stopping there, getting me in frame. Continuing the rotation, back around. If you want to get your clap again, all right, got a photo as well. And then as you can see, while we're in flight in QGroundControl, going over to the FPV app, still have full control over develop air, but now I can do the temperature readouts if I wanted to while I'm in flight. And just to show you can keep going while you're in the FPV app. Bringing it down. I'll still swap over to the QGroundControl app to make sure I'm disarmed, as I would recommend for anyone watching as well, especially our customer who this is going out to. So just because the motor's cut out doesn't mean it's actually disarmed. We're going to verify, and it is disarmed. All right, I think that's about it for this video. And that's it for this Develop Air HP. It's finding its new home up in Virginia, the state for lovers. And as I've actually mentioned previously in one of my recent posts, for speeding tickets in my case as well. But nonetheless, appreciate you watching, sticking with us through the journey of getting this Develop Air HP ready again for its customer after a few not so ideal attempts the first couple times. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comments section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Peace.